Hey, this is Rick Kaselich, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. Today I wanted to go through the question of, what do I do if my shoulder blades wing when I do push-ups? Now, it's specifically a question that came in from a customer, and that's kind of like summarizing what he said. But looking at the question, so Ron, what Ron's specific question was, today I was at the gym working out, and my workout partner noticed my shoulder blades were winging when I was doing push-ups. Is this a bad thing, and what are some exercises that I can do to fix this? Okay, thank you very much, Ron. So what this ends up being is, when you're performing a push-up or any upper body movement, the shoulder blades end up playing a role, and the muscles around the shoulder blade need to turn on and bring those shoulder blades up against the spine, up against your back, and stay there. Now, if they end up winging, that ends up showing that there ends up being weakness, poor activation, and poor endurance. So we need to kind of work on those three things: activation, endurance, and strength of the shoulder blade muscles. Because if we don't, it increases the risk of injury to the shoulder joint. Okay. Now, what you can end up doing is three things, and I'll get Donna Lee to go through them. Now, the first thing is to set the scapula. So this is just a basic exercise where you're just setting the scapula and activating the muscles around the shoulder blade. And then I'll get Donna Lee to face this way. And you can see just from Donna Lee, it ends up being just a small movement. So you're just bringing the shoulder blades back and then down, holding for a couple seconds, and then relaxing. And then again, together and down a little bit, holding for a couple seconds, and then relaxing. And then I'll just get you to face this way, Donna Lee, and I'll show people from the back. So we're looking at this area. Donna Lee's tightening up these muscles, good. And then bring them down just a little bit. So we got the muscles here working and the muscles here working. Now, when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets, you're just going to do 1. Repetitions, you're going to do 5. Intensity, you want to feel that the muscles are being activated and worked. So you might feel a little bit of tiredness in those muscles. And then time, we want to hold it for a couple seconds. So I would say 3 to 5 seconds, and then relax and then move into your next repetition. Now, that's the first exercise. Now, the second one ends up being ball on the wall. So Donna Lee's going to grab the medicine ball. She's going to, and the medicine ball, this one ends up being like 2 or 3 pounds. So it's not heavy at all. It's like this ends up being a 2-pound medicine ball. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a medicine ball. It can be like a basketball or a soccer ball. But what it ends up doing, so Donna Lee's going to bring it up against the wall, have one hand on it, and then she's going to lean into it a little bit, and then also wake up her muscles around her shoulder blade when it comes to that. So we don't necessarily need a medicine ball. We just need something to push up against and put a little bit of weight on to help activating those muscles here in the inside and the lower part of that shoulder blade. Perfect. And then I'll get you to kind of face me, and I'll kind of be the wall, and then people can see it from the side. There we go. So she ends up having the ball at about shoulder height, so the wrist at shoulder height. She's leaning into it, pushing into it, and looking at activating the muscles around the shoulder blade. Perfect. And so she's not excessively protracting, so rounding out and bringing the shoulder flow forward. We're still nice and set, and then we're moving into the ball. Perfect. And a progression to that is you can do it from the side. So you can have the arm to the side, and then we end up targeting the muscles differently in that shoulder blade area. So same thing. Good. And I'll be the wall, and yeah, there we go. So she's leaning into me and then pushing a little bit, but not changing the position of her shoulders. Good. Perfect. When it comes to sets, reps, and time, so sets end up being 1. Repetitions ends up being 5. Time ends up being just like the other one, like 3 to 5 second hold. Intensity, we want to feel that the muscles are working in that shoulder blade area. But just remembering we're not really changing that position of the shoulder. We're set, then we're pushing in, activating those muscles, and we're ready to go. So that ends up being the second. The third one we want to end up doing ends up being the wall push-up. So Donnelly is up against the wall. Her hands or wrists are like at shoulder height, and then she's going to end up going into that push-up movement. Good. So her body's at an angle that works for her. And then with that pushing through the hands and going through the push-up movement, we're working those shoulder blade muscles. Good. And then when it comes to the elbows, if the elbows end up flaring out too far, okay, that ends up putting more stress on the rotator cuff. So if you have any pinching or pain in the shoulder, take a look at your elbows, see if they're too high. You can bring them down so they're more coming out at 45 to your body. Good. Or if they're really bothering you, you can end up going closer so it's tight up against the body. Good. Now when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets 1, repetitions go through 5. You're looking at a smooth, controlled movement, a good stop at the top position, for a second or two. And the intensity, once again, we want those muscles around the shoulder blade to be working. So there you go, Ron. Give those exercises a go. And if you notice that your shoulder blades are winging when you're doing your push-ups, give those exercises a go. It'll definitely help you out. Now, if you do have shoulder pain and you're looking for some of my best tips and tricks when it relates to shoulder pain, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Shoulder Pain and Tightness. Click right here, let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/shoulders. Let me know where to send the report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And then lastly, hit subscribe in order to get future pain relieving videos.